Another part to answering this question about the future of energy. So when we're talking about what energy is going to look like in the future, there's typically going to be two components. The first, which typically takes center stage, is switching to clean renewable energy. But the second, which is what I want to focus on today, and is probably equally as important, is about reducing our energy usage. And why does that matter? Well, because as we use less energy, then we need to produce less, which means that while we're still using fossil fuels, we then emit less. Then, even as we still transition to renewables, we should still use less energy because that means that we won't have to build as much energy infrastructure, so we use less resources. And it's also something that we can do pretty quickly, as in right now. So it's often even dubbed the first fuel of the clean energy transition. So then we can ask ourselves, well, what do we actually do to reduce our energy usage? And we can typically break this down into about two main steps. The first being technological. And that means that our devices, appliances, cars, etc. are going to have to be designed to use less energy to perform the same tasks. This is called energy efficiency. And to drive home how important that really is, the International Energy Agency has estimated that this alone represents more than 40% of the emissions reductions by 2040 that we would need according to the Paris Agreement. The second step is then behavioral. Of course, there's tons of ways that you can save energy in your everyday routine, some of which may work better for you than others, but to give some examples, that might look like turning off the lights or the TV if you're not in the room, washing your clothes in cold water instead of warm, or hanging your clothes outside on the line to dry. It could also look like taking public transportation. And just to end on a bit of an exaggerated example of what reducing your energy usage can look like, in some places, governments actually regulate energy usage, especially where resources are limited, or infrastructure is aging, or extreme weather is draining the grid. And this is typically done with what's called planned power outages, or load shedding, which are controlled blackouts in certain areas at specific set times in order to keep the entire power grid working. And on a larger scale, it's commonly been used in places like South Africa or India, Pakistan. However, we've also seen it on smaller scales here in the US, such as in the Texas snowstorm in 2021 or a heat wave in California in 2020. And I'm not saying that this is the move going forward, but it's something that's already a reality in places where demand is greater than supply. As always, please keep leaving any questions, comments you have about climate change. We're here to answer anything. We're OShift Climate Talks, here to help you figure the shift out together.